In the amount of time it has been between when I posted at about noon today what we would be talking about and now, whatever that time frame is, what is that, 7.5 hours, 6.5 hours? I have received multiple threatening emails against me and my family, all because tonight we're going to talk about a little. I wasn't even going to talk about it all that much. We're going to talk about it now, though, because we're going to talk about JLR Investigates. All it's done, the only thing that it has caused me to do is feel pissed. P-I-S-T. So we're talking about it coming up. This video contains mature themes and discussions intended only for adult audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome back to another true crime conversation with me, Gavin Fish. Thank you very much for being here tonight, where we like to cut through fluff. We like to cut through sensationalism. We like to get to the nitty-gritty of everything in true crime, and that's what we're going to do tonight. If that's your thing, you're in the right spot, and we're glad you're here. Thanks for being here. Guys, listen. You know I'm all about transparency. You know that I am a fan of transparency, and there's nothing that enrages me more than an opaque government. And there are courts throughout the fruited plain that have terrible, terrible rules, terrible laws, including in my adopted home state of Pennsylvania, where we can't bring any type of recording device, a camera for photo, video, audio. We can't do anything in any courtroom. In fact, when we do attend hearings that are virtual, we are admonished that it is against Pennsylvania law to record or broadcast anything that's going on. And it was just last month that I attended a virtual hearing with Judge Carpenter on the Ellen Greenberg case, and you guys were like, "Hey, will you live stream it for us?" I said, nay, because it's against the law. So I didn't do it. So I'm all about transparency, and I hate opaque government. Secondly, I'm all about freedom of expression. I'm all about our rights here in the United States that are guaranteed by the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. That guarantees our right to free speech. And I want everybody to be able to enjoy that right. But where it crosses the line is when you start to threaten or incite others to violence against a person or that person's property. And that is what has happened. I'm not here to cry about it. We're going to read this and we're going to move on. Okay? But that is what has happened to me in the last 6.5 hours. I'm just going to read a couple of. Message number 1. Why are you harassing JLR? He done nothing to you. So obviously this person is uneducated, does not know how to speak or write English. Why you harassing JLR? He done nothing to you. Bad move. We are going to post, and then the name of one of my children, their mugshot everywhere from her theft arrest. There has been no such arrest, no such mugshot with any of my children. So these people are using, been verified or whatever background, and they think they're finding something and they're not. But they do know the name of one of my children. Here's another one, and the subject is the name of another of my children, Nabra. We see you harassing JLR for content. You ain't getting away with that. Everything on then one of my children's names, then for some reason a name Melissa, another name John, and then another name of one of my children being posted in forums. You are a loser too. Daughter's name is a criminal. Your house in what they think is my hometown is a POS. Pay your YouTube taxes, reporting you to the IRS. There are just a couple that have come in today from supporters of JLR Investigates. Now listen, I don't know JLR. I don't know him. I'm aware of him. I know the channel, especially because of the Micah Miller case. I found his content distasteful in his harassment of people around the Micah Miller case, but I didn't say anything about it. I just went on my merry and did my thing. And yeah, listen. Okay, kids, Uncle Gavin here. All right. I know I don't need to say it to you guys because you guys are amazing. You guys don't need to do this. Or I know you don't do this. But if you ever feel like Gavin has become slighted or disrespected or whatever, just repeat this mantra. Who the hell cares? I don't care. Hold on. I don't care. Uncle Gavin doesn't care. Nobody cares. It's okay. See, I have the right to not like what other people do and to talk about it. They have the right to not like what I'm saying and to talk about it, but they are crossing a very important legal line that I don't want any of you to ever cross. Who cares what people say about me? Just let it wash over you. Let it be water off a duck's back. It does not matter. Don't be these people. And of course now I have to open a police report and I have to do all that stuff. And you know what? It's so stupid to make a threat against somebody in Pennsylvania. To talk about where you think they live. If you were to show up at any house anywhere in Western Pennsylvania, threatening anybody inside, you would be met with firearms. Don't do that, okay? Don't do that. That is stupid. Don't do it anywhere, okay? Just don't do it. And JLR fans, I was about to say I admire your enthusiasm, but I don't. I don't admire what you're doing here at all. Just stop it. My coverage of JLR Investigates in this here video, and we're not even supposed to be talking about him. We've got an actual victim here. Suzanne Morphew is the actual victim here. So I don't want to talk about him, but he has made himself part of the case by doing something illegal. It is not protected under the First Amendment, and we're going to get into it because he made himself part of the case. And guys, look, I know this is a rant. What are we? How long are we in here? We're in almost 9 minutes, and I'm still on this. Goodness gracious. Okay, rant is about to be over. YouTube personalities, including yours truly, should never be the center of a case. We should never put ourselves in the middle of a case, ever. Ever. So, the people who should be in the middle of the case are the victims. Exhibit A, once again, this victim right here. We're actually going to be talking a little bit about these daughters of this victim a little bit tonight. But we should not be putting ourselves in the middle of any case. Feel free to add your commentary, do your investigations, do whatever you want to do, but do not put yourself in the middle of a case. You are not that important. And I'm speaking to the collective you, which includes me. We are not important enough to be part of a case. The only reason you should ever be a part of the case is if, one, You are a victim. And don't make yourself a victim. I want you to be a bona fide victim, right? And 2, you are a perpetrator. Don't ever do that either, okay? All right. All right. Let's talk about Suzanne Morphew, right? Thank you guys for sitting through that rant. I am angry. I am pissed. Let's go to see where you guys are from. Let's see. Kel says she's already mad. Who are these people? See, unlike these people, I'm not going to give out their names. I doubt they're even their names. Doesn't matter. Yeah, don't go after other people's kids. Correcto. Don't do that. Do not threaten kids ever. Was this on social media or an email? It was an email. Yeah. Dev says, eek. Sorry to hear this is happening to you, Gavin. Surround your house with books, and I'm sure that will scare them off. That is funny. Okay, so you guys are with me. And I appreciate it. M. L. Loftus says, Gavin, you can tell they are not very educated. Shame on the stupid people. Yes, you have a right to free speech without hate coming back at you. Yeah, as long as you don't cross the line, right? Uncle Gavin brought out casual Friday language and said the H word. Uncle Gavin was a little heated. Shay says, so sorry. Pray for your safety of your family. We're going to be fine. We're safe. It's going to be fine. Thank you to Kel for the super chat. Definitely appreciate that. Thanks for getting us started tonight. Let's see. Rachel says, Gavin, sorry you're dealing with this. JLR made himself part of this case when he broke the law. Justice for Suzanne is what's important. Correct. That is correct, Rachel. Thank you very much. Dusty Rose says it's a justified rant. I appreciate it. Looks like we got Northern California in the house. It is a miracle that Suzanne was found. We got Chicago in the house. We got Daytona Beach in the house. The UK, Delaware, Ontario, New Bedford, Mass. Iona says Gavin's subscribers have more class. Yeah, Uncle Gavin doesn't even need to tell you guys this, right? You guys know. We got Delaware. We got... Oh, Claire says no cameras in New Jersey or New York either. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I appreciate your comments where you're commenting on JLR. I appreciate it. I'm not going to read those because we don't need to. All right, good. Do we have anybody else from, Colorado? Colorado is in the house. France is in the house. Vive la France is in the house. Chile, viva la patria. Gracias por estar, Fernanda. Got Jacksonville, Florida. We got Rockford, Illinois. North Carolina, Saginaw, Michigan, New Mexico. Wangaratta, Australia. Kel, did you just make that word up? Or is that a real place? Good to have you from down under. North Texas, Montreal. What is this? Arkansas? No, Arkansas in the house, North Carolina, Wisconsin. Glad to have Janet from Wisconsin in the house. Got more from Arkansas, Indiana, North Carolina. Thank you so much for being here, all of you. Thank you. Okay. Let's get into our coverage here, okay? Now, of course, we all know the story. You know what? I'm going to read a couple, just a quick couple updates. And you know what I forgot to do? Let's see. It looks like I forgot a couple steps. Let's see. See if I can get this on. There we go. Okay. I need to squeeze this in. I was so heated from getting started. I didn't get this already. Okay. So just a quick update in the case. Okay. Barry Morphew had a 3-minute status conference today, according to members of the media who were allowed to attend. There are tighter restrictions on the WebEx attendance of hearings now. Thank you to Mr. Investigates. But there was a 3-minute status conference today, during which 12th Judicial District Chief Judge Amanda Hopkins, at the suggestion of Morphew's legal team, set another and final status conference for 1:30 p.m. on January 12th. Morphew's lawyer, David Beller, provided a brief update to Hopkins about his team, quote, continuing to make our way through the enormous discovery, close quote, adding that they met with the prosecution earlier to go over some items. That process of discovery is ongoing and unfortunately time-consuming, he said. Hopkins said she will expect a plea entrance from Morphew at that time and request that he stay in good contact. Remember that his bail was changed from cash to cash or bond. I think legally there's something else in there too, but basically he was able to bond out. $3 million bail. He was able to raise $300,000 from fans and so forth. So yeah, there is that. Since the last status conference in September, the court has amended its stance on live streaming the court proceedings for this case. It will no longer be live streamed for the general public. The public may attend in person, but only credentialed media may watch it remotely. Media are also allowed to attend in person, but only 5 seats are available per court date and on a first-come, first-served basis. The reason for the public not being allowed to view court hearings is outlined in a defendant's motion, which we're going to read, where it is noted that following a September 2nd status conference, a YouTube channel, JLR Investigates, posted a recording of the status conference. JLR Investigates was not the only YouTube channel to record and post the hearing. The defendant's motion stated some of the commentary, shockingly enough, now that I have received commentary from Mr. Investigates fans, including from JLR, takes issue with the constitutional requirement that the defendant is presumed innocent until proven otherwise, propounds several conspiracy theories concerning this case, and threatens violence against Morphew, attorneys for both sides, and others, including several victims. Once again, Uncle Gavin comes out and is just going to tell you guys, don't get so caught up in a case that it incites you to violence. It's a case. It's a case. It's a case. Now, there are victims in the case, of course, and we want justice for those victims, but we all understand that actual justice for victims of violent crimes such as murder does not actually exist. The best thing we can do is the closest thing to it. So, that is what we seek. Okay, we do not seek violence against Mr. Morphew, his family members, the attorneys that are representing him, members of his team, private investigators, and so forth. We do not do that. Don't get yourself caught up in it. Okay? One other quick thing. This one was from the Denver Gazette. This one also was from today. Bring it up for you guys to see. Barry Morphew, the Colorado man accused of killing his wife and leaving her body in a remote field in the San Luis Valley, will likely face trial next summer. During a brief hearing in the case Monday, that was today, 3 minutes long, his attorney, David Beller, told the judge they're still going through discovery, blah, blah, blah. Amanda made several rulings to limit pretrial publicity, including allowing only credentialed members of the media to view live-streamed court hearings. Guys, that's... See, what has happened because of these shenanigans is less transparency is happening. So in his so-called mission for transparency in government, he has closed the windows. The curtains have been drawn. I wanted to, I think there was a quote in one of these. Yeah, this is from the Denver Post. Let me just scroll down here, okay? All right. Hopkins found, starting right here, Hopkins found that a YouTube channel called JLR Investigates posted a recording of the court's live stream of a September hearing in the Morphew case in violation of judicial rules. The recording that was posted to YouTube included an admonition that no recording was allowed. The judge wrote in the 10-page order. We're going to get to that. This is the part that I want you guys to hear. JLR Investigates said in an unsigned statement that the account, quote, accessed and shared the same public link available to anyone, and that the channel operated within the bounds of public access and journalistic transparency, close quote. This bothers me. Now, let me quibble with myself here for a second, okay? First of all, there's no such thing as a credentialed journalist in the world. Now, there is such thing as journalism credentialing within organizations such as courts, such as government buildings and things like that. That credentialing is a thing, but in order to be called a journalist, you just need to be keeping a journal. That makes you a journalist. If you want to be called a reporter, then you must report on things. And voila, you are a reporter. Okay, so, and journalism, not until, relatively recently, maybe the last 4 decades, journalism was a trade. It was a trade that you learned on the job. You were an apprentice, and you learned journalism by trade. It wasn't until I don't know the order of things, but basically, I blame like Columbia. That's what I blame. I blame Columbia University for creating master's programs in journalism, and then that I think spread to the rest of the academy. And now everybody believes that you have to go to college to become a journalist. You don't. You just have to keep a journal and report on those things in a publication. Okay, so I'm quibbling with myself. Now, getting back over here, journalistic transparency, he is not following, in my opinion, journalistic ethics. No journalist would say, oh, there are judicial rules barring me from doing this, but I can still report on it. I think I will just do it anyway. No. There's a line that you crossed. And when you cross it, when you cross that ethical boundary, you are no longer within journalism. Okay? Because we all ask ourselves, man, if I do this, does it help the public or does it hurt the public? Does it make things more transparent or less transparent? If you really want to battle transparency in government, there are proper ways to do that, even within journalism. But you must remain within the rules. So that's the dumbest thing any journalist has ever said. And I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He publishes, he reports, but he crossed the ethical line, and that's where and I don't have a problem with him. I have a problem with what he did. Okay? The statement objected to the judge's finding that the account's actions were unlawful. Yeah, really interesting. A judge who's, let's see, what is a judge's job? Are they to be the judges of the law? Is that what it is? Give me a break. Quote, continues JLR Investigates. I'm calling him Mr. Investigates. We shared a public feed made available by the court itself, read an email from the account. The judge's decision to remove public access moving forward penalizes transparency, and punishes the public's right to observe justice in action. Two things that were completely predictable, Mr. Investigates. Completely 100% predictable. Okay, and then blah, blah, blah. Okay, because the rest of it we're going to get into... let's read this one real quick. We're going to get into the motion, okay? Colorado courts are required by state law to live stream most criminal proceedings, but judges are allowed to turn off that virtual public access if they find the live stream compromises anyone's safety, the defendant's right to a fair trial, or victims' rights, as long as the judge finds there is no, quote, less restrictive alternative to allow the public continue to watch remotely while preserving those rights. Any less restrictive remedies would prove fruitless, Hopkins wrote, and we're going to read all that. Okay? So, people who violate state law around recording the court's live stream can be subject to contempt of court, which can carry a fine, jail time, or both, though Hopkins noted in her order that it would be impractical to pursue contempt of court against all of the offending YouTube and true crime social accounts in Morphew's case. So, they're getting let off pretty easily. Okay, so, and I think that's kind of what I wanted to show. Let me see if there's one other. I wanted to talk about the daughters. Now, this is a source, this website, that I don't like to use all the time. It's People Magazine, but it's good reporting. So, Barry Morphew murder trial, supporters raise money. This was from a few days ago, to free accused wife killer, which we all knew. Daughters may be forced to testify. And I just wanted to skip down here. Oh yeah, so the bail was changed from $3 million cash to $3 million cash surety or property, meaning he needed to secure just $300,000 to be released from jail if he chose surety. Property, if he had something worth property, they could put a lien on it. Blah, blah, blah. He has to wear an ankle monitor. Okay, Barry and Suzanne's daughters, Macy and Mallory, were both in court for the September 2nd hearing, during which the judge agreed to modify their father's bail. The two young women have been unwavering in their support of their father, with at least one of the daughters appearing at all of their father's court appearances. At the September 2nd hearing, the judge noted the fact that the two women were in attendance and listed their support as a key reason why she modified Morphew's bail, even as prosecutors have listed both daughters as potential witnesses. Dun, dun, dun. Barry Morphew will be back in court on the 3rd, which was today, for a 3-minute pretrial appearance, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And it goes over the case, which we have gone over in pretty great detail. All right, let's go. Oh, dang it, I didn't, there's one more thing I didn't prepare. Let's open this up. And this is going to balk at me. Give me just 1 second, guys. When I push this button, it's going to go black. Let me fix that. There I was, just all worked up. I didn't get it ready. There we go. Okay. This is the motion that I would like to read. Okay. This is an order granting defendants' unopposed motion to cease unmonitored live stream of court proceedings. This matter came before me on the defendant's unopposed motion to cease, the judge is writing this, okay, unmonitored live stream of court proceedings filed on September 19th, 2025. The defendant's motion attempts to address violations of Colorado statute and Chief Justice Directive 2302 concerning the recording of live streamed criminal proceedings. For the following reasons, the motion is granted. Both in this case and the prior one against Barry Morphew have garnered an unbelievable amount of local, state, national, and international attention, of course. I mean, yeah, they've got our attention for sure. If you enter Mr. Morphew's name into any internet search engine, many thousands of results return. This is perhaps not surprising considering the explosion of interest in the true crime genre with the development of podcasts and streaming television in the last decade. There are more than 20,000 true crime podcasts in existence and available on free podcast services like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Several podcasts have already covered the case against Mr. Morphew in some capacity, but this level of interest has also increased the level of difficulty a court such as mine has in protecting the right to a fair trial and the safety of those involved in these sorts of cases. Oops. There have been 2 court dates in this matter since the grand jury returned an indictment against Mr. Morphew on June 18th. Both have been available to the public via the state's live streaming service. Following the September 2nd status conference, it came to my attention that an individual with a YouTube channel called JLR Investigates posted a recording of the status conference, including the admonition that there shall be no recording made. JLR Investigates unlawful recording included comments from some of the 17,000 plus people who viewed the unlawful recording. Some of the commentary, including from JLR, takes issue with the constitutional requirement that the defendant is presumed innocent until proven otherwise, propounds several conspiracy theories concerning the case, and we read this in the report, but let's continue, and threatens violence against me, the judge, attorneys for both sides, and others, including several victims. But JLR Investigates is not the only YouTube channel that unlawfully recorded and then posted live-streamed hearings on the matter. Pausing the availability of the public's access to live streaming does not run afoul of the constitutional right to a public trial. Defendants accused of criminal conduct are entitled to a public trial by both the United States and Colorado constitutions. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial, blah, blah, blah. The right to a public trial belongs largely to the accused. This is so that, not to the public, right? It belongs to the accused, largely. This is so that the public may see the defendant is fairly dealt with and not unjustly condemned, and that the presence of interested spectators may keep his triers keenly alive to the sense of their responsibility and to the importance of their functions. And I have to say, I was once, this is what a gallery full of people does. It keeps the triers keenly alive to their responsibility. Now, this is reminding me of an experience I had when I was sitting in the gallery. I believe I was the only member of the gallery that day. There were other people sitting back there on the benches, but they were defendants and lawyers for defendants. So it was a hearing day, and people were coming up for all sorts of different hearings, pretrial hearings, status conferences, arraignments, things like that. And I was the only person in the gallery that was there just to watch. In this particular county, not the one that I live in, the district attorney and I are known to each other. He knows what I do for a living. I know him. We respect and admire one another. Well, I should say I respect and admire him. I don't know what he feels about me. But anyway, there was a bit of a kerfuffle where a defendant needed to check in with probation, and the probation department was like, at that table over there, before you leave, you got to check in with that table over there. You may not leave until you check in with that gentleman and those 2 ladies at that table over there. And the defendant wasn't having it and was trying to leave, and it became a huge sheriff pile. It was something to behold. And they tried really hard just to get her to understand, look, you got to go check in. This is, the judge was like, this is part of the order. You must, anyway, it doesn't matter. So she gets cuffed and removed from the court and found in contempt of court and taken to jail. And the DA he says out loud on the record, of course this would happen when Gavin's here. Right? So it's like they're keenly aware of people in the audience observing them, not only from the media, but the public, family members of the victims, family members of the accused, and so forth. Okay, contrary to the purposes for which the offending observers have used it, the right to a public trial exists for the purpose of preserving the accused's, wow, that's a hard word for me to say. Wrong button. Right, there we are, to the presumption of innocence and in ensuring legal professionals provide the best, most competent service possible to the communities we serve. The right to a public trial is not without its parameters or limitations, and it can be waived. Even constitutional rights can be waived, although I should indulge every reasonable presumption against such a waiver. I do not find that, in making a request to disallow live streaming of the proceedings, the defendant is waiving his right to a public trial generally, but he is volunteering to have a limitation placed on that. Remember, it was a motion that the defense made. He's not waiving his right to a public trial. He's saying, I want a limitation put on this. Public trials do not only belong to the accused. Public access to criminal trials permits the public to participate in and serve as a check upon the judicial process, an essential component in our structure of government. The benefits to the public of access to criminal proceedings include allowing the public to see that the accused is fairly dealt with, ensuring that judges and prosecutors discharge their duties responsibly, encouraging witnesses to come forward, discouraging perjury, and allowing victims and the community to know that offenders are being brought to justice. These laudable purposes cease to exist, however, when some members of the public exploit access to criminal proceedings for purposes antithetical to these goals. Not every restriction on the public's access to criminal matters results in a constitutional violation. There is a 4-part test announced in Waller above to determine if a courtroom closure complies with the Sixth Amendment. Has the party seeking to close the courtroom advanced an overriding interest that is likely to be prejudiced? Is the closure no broader than is necessary to protect that interest? Are there reasonable alternatives to closing the proceeding, and have I made findings adequate to support the closure? The Sixth Amendment guarantees a right to a trial that is open to the public, meaning that the public has a reasonable opportunity to be physically present to observe the proceedings. Nothing in my ruling will prevent that opportunity. In contrast, if I do not pause the unfettered live streaming of hearings in this case, at best, the unlawful recordings and venomous commentary may affect both or either party's right to a fair trial by tainting the small jury pool through the prevalence of factual inaccuracies and the court of public opinion. While the impact of outside commentary is not an uncommon concern in a high-profile case, what is occurring because of that behavior of the offending observers rises to a level of seriousness beyond that which something like a change of venue would resolve. At worst, it calls for and acts of violence against the parties and legal professionals will lead to someone being physically hurt. Thank you, Judge. Now, Mr. Investigates probably didn't engage in that part of it. Maybe he did. I don't think he did. I haven't watched it. I haven't read through it. But if my email, I just want to check something here real quick. If the emails that I received are any indication, haven't received any others. Good. But if they are any indication, then an incitement to violence has definitely already happened. Let's pause here for a second. We're going to go over to your comments. I think I may have missed a super chat. There it is. TJ. The big dog girl. I'm late, but my granny used to tell me all the time, girl, it's none of your business what other people think of you. Yeah, who cares, right? Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Thanks guys for supporting me. Okay, Kel says the name of her town down under is real. It is our local Aboriginal word for cormorant resting place. Well, now you've made up a second word, Kel. What is cormorant? Cormorant meaning a large diving bird with a long neck, long hooked bill, short legs, and mainly dark plumage. It typically breeds on the coastal cliffs, and it's noted for its voracious appetite. Wow, I'm learning so much. Awesome. Okay. Jessica says, Gavin, you look healthy and I love it. Well, thank you. I am. I am doing my best and I'm sticking to it. So for those of you who don't know, I got sick of Fat Gavin. I'm just sick of Fat Gavin. I don't like Fat Gavin anymore. It's probably part of my post midlife crisis, which I entered right when I turned 50 years old. No, it wasn't right. It was a few weeks before I turned 50 years old. But yes, I thank you. Thank you for noticing. I am keeping with it. I need to lose 88 pounds. I have so far lost 41. So, but who's counting, right? Dev, welcome to Fanatic. Glad you are here. Deanna says I'm a handsome man. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Joanne Marie, Uncle Gavin, is Auntie Kimberly okay after the kiddos were so wrongly brought into this situation? I have yet to have the conversation with my Snuggly Bear, my one and only, but I will. I certainly will. Let's see. Noticing a lot of deleted messages. Okay. Kathy Williamson, Gavin, I once deleted a channel because he didn't know how to pronounce Alberta or Ontario. He's a police officer. Well, I hope I got him right. Now I'm second guessing myself. That is funny. Okay, let's see. I just want to make sure that I get everybody's comments that are directed at me. Don Joe, I'm late to the live, so I had to back up to the beginning, and I'm dumbfounded at what I'm hearing. So sorry you're dealing with this. Yeah, thank you very much. It's not a big deal. It's fine. It's just annoying. And ML Loftus, good job, Gavin, for losing weight and getting healthy. Yeah, I'm starting to stack weights at the gym. Okay, we're gonna just sidebar here for a second. Sidebar. Everybody join me on camera A. I only have one camera. It's all camera A. This is what I'm doing. Number one, I am eating only whole foods. That's all I'm doing. Okay. Well, it's not all I'm doing, but that's what I'm doing for food. So if it comes in a bottle, a box, a bag, I'm not eating it. I am eating fresh meats, fresh produce, and yeah. Now there are some things in bottle. I am taking supplements. I'm taking magnesium. I'm taking potassium. I'm taking creatine, and then I am doing intermittent fasting. My plan calls for 16 hours off, 8 hours of eating. It's usually between 18 and 24 for me, because it's not that big of a deal. It's working out pretty well for me. Man, my hair is doing a weird thing. So that's what I'm doing on the diet. So by eating only fresh meat, fresh grains, fresh dairy, fresh, vegetables and stuff like that, nothing pre-prepared. That's making me cook it, that's making me prepare it, and the intermittent fasting is making me not eat very much. And I'm still averaging less than 1,000 calories in a day. Then the next thing I'm doing is 3 days a week I am walking, because I have broken both of my kneecaps before. I have really weak knees, and so I can't do high impact stuff. Kimberly is saying I should walk in a pool. I'm thinking about doing that, or go swimming or rowing or something like that that's not high impact, still requires strength, but I'm walking 3 times a week, and then I am lifting weights 3 times a week. And that is my plan. That's what I'm doing. If you want to join me, join me. I've got 2 apps that I'm using. One is called Simple, and Simple is the one that I use for my eating. And then Gravel I'm using for working out. That's what I'm doing. So, yeah. Okay. Now that was a long enough sidebar. Okay. Kel, I am kind of in a Barry Gibb. I am in a Barry Gibb phase right now. I mean, I have a taller forehead for sure. Just pretend it's down there. But yes, I'm in a very Bee Gees place right now. I did. Oh, and the reason for the long hair, for those of you who don't know, is I'm growing it out to donate it. But I got sick of it and it was getting unhealthy, so I did have a little trim. That's where I am. Okay, now let's get back to what is most important. Let's get back to this, to Suzanne. All right. Um, we're going to come over here. Okay, both the Colorado statute on live streaming and concomitant judicial policies allow for the suspension of access to live streamed court proceedings. In 2023, how long have we been gone? We got time. The Colorado legislature mandated that criminal proceedings in open court be made available for remote public viewing and listening in real time. There are several reasons for limiting this process, including that the courtroom does not have sufficient technological capabilities. Members of the public have been excluded from the criminal proceeding by order of the court. Technology, staffing, or internet issues limit or prevent remote observation. After a request by a party, witness, or victim, or on the court's own motion, the court makes findings on the record based on the particular facts and circumstances of that case that there is a reasonable likelihood remote observation of live proceedings risks compromising the safety of any person, including risks to physical and emotional safety, intimidation, and harassment, the defendant's right to a fair trial, including violations of sequestration orders or the victim's rights pursuant to the Victims' Rights Act, and there is no less restrictive alternative that preserves the public's interest in remote observation while mitigating the identified risk, including allowing remote audio only observation while disabling video observation or turning off remote observation at particular times. The statute requires that the court ensure there is no audio or visual recording without the permission of the court and gives examples of what reasonable steps must be taken in the same vein. She's about to tell us, like, hey, it's part of the court's job to say no, to make sure there's no recording, and they are recording. Therefore, I got to do something, right? The Colorado Judicial Department has already taken those steps which it can, including several warnings that recording is prohibited. Additional measures are not possible in this situation as explained below. The statute also allows the Supreme Court to prescribe rules of procedure in implementing the statute. The Supreme Court has done so via Chief Justice Directive 2302, live streaming criminal trial court proceedings. The directive provides a list of considerations that must be made before limiting live streaming, whether there is a reasonable likelihood that live streaming would interfere with the rights of the parties to a fair trial, whether there is a reasonable likelihood that live streaming would create any adverse consequence to a party, attorney, victim, or witness, whether there is a reasonable likelihood that live streaming would unduly detract from the solemnity, decorum, and dignity of the court, whether any prior violations of this directive or other rules of the court have occurred in the same manner, the level of public interest in the case, consideration of the Victim Rights Act, blah, 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 consideration of the Americans with Disabilities Act, blah, blah, blah. Furthermore, okay, she's made the point. Let's see. Oh, let's do this one. First, the offending observers and some commenting on their unlawful recordings have advocated and outright threatened harm against me, the judge, attorneys for both sides, the defendant, and most disturbingly, the victims of this matter. While these types of threats towards those involved in the justice system are unfortunately no longer uncommon, individuals who are either followers of and or like-minded to the offending observers have taken it steps further by doing things like doxing the former judge on this matter, sending threatening letters to the home and work addresses of attorneys involved in the case, and leaving a dead fox on the front porch of one of the attorneys' homes. That is beyond the pale of simple commentary on their work to hold them accountable or disagreement with my decisions or the course of the case. These are terrifying, unlawful attempts at intimidation and harassment that have no place in our justice system. By the way, guys, I should have like like a Simply Safe sponsorship or something like that. I should have a sponsorship on this site for a very good camera system. And I do want it known out there that I don't have cheapo cameras here. Okay? They're all at least 4K. Some are higher. And they see in the dark, in color, in Technicolor. So if you don't have those at your home, get those at your home. Okay? I should have some kind of sponsor on this. This would be a great sponsor for the channel. I don't have one, but everybody should shell out the money to get a very good security system that includes multiple cameras, multiple angles, multiple heights of the cameras, and they should be upgraded frequently to make them even better, which is something that we do here at La Casa Pes. Okay, getting back into it. Second, Alamosa County has a comparatively small jury pool. While I would never prevent general publicity of any case that is of interest to the community, that publicity will likely prevent at least some in our small jury pool from being fair and impartial jurors on this matter. I'm not sympathetic to this part of it. I'm not sympathetic to this part of it at all. You just have to voir dire better, or longer, or elsewhere. But the actions of the offending observers threaten to exacerbate the problem by showing parts of the proceedings and its participants that the credentialed media, for good reason, are prevented from showing, and by making statements purporting to have some sort of inside information that would not ever be provided to the jury because it is not real or an actual fact. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Finally, nothing in this order prevents the credentialed media from reporting on this case to the order preemptively granting requests for expanded media coverage, which will be amended to accommodate credentialed media who previously used the live stream. Furthermore, the public is welcome to observe the proceedings in person. Therefore, the defendant's unopposed motion to cease unmonitored live stream of court proceedings D009 is hereby granted. Nothing in the order changes the manner in which any victim, the defendant's family, or the staff of the respective attorney's office may access this proceeding. Credentialed media may access and report on the proceedings as outlined in the amended order preemptively granting requests for expanded media coverage. Members of the general public may attend the proceedings held in open court in person subject to the following conditions. And it's just like, okay. Only so many people will be permitted to enter, so that, yeah, it's just basic stuff. And then signed by Amanda Hopkins, District Court Judge. So that's where we are. Guys. Let's not forget our victim. I feel like I've shown that one a lot. Let's show this one and see what y'all are saying to me over here. Tammy loves my hair. Tammy, get as much of it as you can because it's going away eventually. Just refreshed. Phoenix Rising, you're very handsome, but I miss hat days. Yeah, hats aren't fitting on my head right now. That is true. Now, if you were a member of the Fish Tank, remember, guys, I've got an amazing website, gavinfish.com, that has all sorts of stuff on it. Okay. But one of the things it has is this little clicky right here, which takes you over to the Fish Tank, which is where we hang out on Facebook. If you are on Facebook, you've got an open invitation to be on Facebook. There was a post that I made a little while ago where I asked you guys, hey, which hat should I wear? Overwhelmingly, the support went to this hat, which is one of my favorite hats. It's my winter panel cap. I like it, so that's the one that I wore that day. So I am a hat person. Also, you know I'm an Irish Spring person. Everybody knows that. But yeah, check us out over on the old Facebook, okay? Let me bring up this one, though. This picture just kills me, but we're gonna go for it. We're gonna make it. Sandbaby Stitches, I just wonder what you did to get both kneecaps broken. Was it the mob? how much time do we have here? We got a few minutes. Okay, listen. I'm going to tell you a story. Okay, we're going to bring this picture down. This is here on the Tube of Views. I am kind of known as a serious person. Well, it's because of the content, right? This very serious content that we talk about. But in my personal life, outside of true crime, I'm kind of goofy. I'm kind of a cheeseball, and I am the class clown. I am the family jester. I like to have fun. It's probably, yeah, a lot of, it's just the content that we talk about here is very serious. Okay. So I'm always angling for a laugh. And years ago, Kimberly and I were already married. We've been married almost 26 years. Later this month, we'll have our 26th anniversary. But I think that this must have been 15 or maybe even 20 years ago. We were gathered together on my side of the family. It was my folks. It was all of my brothers and sisters and all of our spouses. And then also my grandmother was there. My grandfather had already passed away at this point. So I can kind of... But we were gathering for my mother's birthday in a place where it was really out of the way. Not a lot of stuff to entertain us. But it was done on purpose, right? We were just celebrating my mom's birthday, and we're scattered throughout the Fruited Plains, and so we all gathered together for a birthday weekend to celebrate my mom. One of the things that town had, amazingly, was like a 4 or 5 lane bowling alley. It was like in a Quonset hut type of building. It was a nice, as bowling alleys go, I don't know what makes a good one from a bad one. But as I was bowling with the family, and we were having a good time, just lots of laughs, having a really good time, I remembered a scene from one of my favorite movies, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. For those of you who have seen Bill and Ted's, you probably know the scene that I am talking about. This is where, of course, Derek takes Napoleon, who has been taken out of the past and brought to San Dimas, California, and he is under the care and protection of, is it Deacon? Not Derek. I think it's Deacon. It's one of the little brothers, and the little brother takes Napoleon bowling. And Napoleon puts his fingers in the bowling ball, and he goes to throw it, and they get stuck, and he dives down the lane, slides down the oily lane. And there I was. I'm left-handed. I have a different hand. So I was like, I'm going to do Napoleon. And so I did. And I swung, and I ran, and I Superman down the lane, and I landed on the hard surface, and pop, it broke both of my kneecaps. But when I looked up, man, my mom and grandma were laughing hysterically. So, and I've been dealing with it ever since, but it was worth it. It was worth it. Emmy says, Gavin, you're great. Thanks for the coverage of the Melody Buzzard case. Yeah, and we will continue to cover that for sure. Thank you. Emmy says, I wish you had media credentials. I can get media credentials. I am a bona fide reporter, a bona fide journalist with a publication serving a big amount of Western Pennsylvania. I could do that. I think when it gets time for the trial, they'll probably live stream it. See if there's anything else here. Tammy remembers. Kel says, being the family friend clown has broken my big toe, hurt my back, caused many big bruises, and a broken finger. But all worth it, right, Kel? All worth it. Yes. Okay. Hawkeyes. Yes. Autumn just posted it through Nightbot. That will take you to the link. Okay, so that's the end of tonight's show, guys. It's been an hour. We've been together for an hour. That's a good amount of time. We will be back tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Remember, we're in daylight time now, so it might be different for some of you. Hang on just one second. Mama Sleuth says, we need to remember we are adults here, not high schoolers. Well, I mean, that's part of my post-midlife crisis right now. I'm having a hard time getting out of high school zone. In fact, guys, the Fish Family Christmas card this year is going to be a high school yearbook. It's not going to be a thick yearbook. It's modeled after a high school yearbook. We're almost finished with our senior portrait style portraits. So, yeah, I'm still a kid. Still a kid. Thanks for joining me, guys. I really appreciate it. I thank you for the super chats tonight and for those of you who joined, to be fanatics. I really appreciate that. Thank you to my patrons. More people are supporting me on Patreon than ever before, and I deeply appreciate that. Remember, you can always go to gavinfish.com. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on X. You can find me on Instagram. I'm all over the place. But where I love being the most is right here on YouTube. And tomorrow we will be back, 7:30 Eastern. Until then, I bid you adieu. And I'll see you the next time. Take care. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.